I want to bring in Senator Ed Markey now. He's a Democrat. He serves on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. He also serves on the Commerce Committee. And, sir, thanks for being with us. Facebook was, of course, actually founded in your state. You've been very clear that you want Zuckerberg before the Commerce Committee. You just sent him a letter to that effect this morning. You heard what he said to CNN there. He would testify if it were the right thing to do, if he's the one who knows the most about something. I imagine that you have a differing point of view from him on whether that is the rationale for whether he should appear before your committee.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question that he is the right person to testify. When there was a BP oil spill, the CEO of BP was the right person to testify before Congress to explain why there were no blowout preventers that work. We had a big oil spill. Now we have a huge data spill, which has occurred, and he is the CEO of Facebook, and he has to come because no one understands the algorithms of Facebook better than him. He knows how they used to gather information, and he should also know how they used to protect information from being leaked. And so he should explain what are those algorithms and how were they penetrated, and are other penetrations of the privacy of Americans going on right now, because those safeguards are not in place.
If you had a chance to have him at a hearing there, what questions would you ask?
Well, I would want to know when they knew that the privacy of Americans was being compromised by this professor and then by Cambridge Analytica. What did they do? And did they, in fact, understand that that might be a lesson that then should ensure that at that point in time that they began to examine all of the apps which could be used in order to take this private information of families, of children across our country, and then be put into the hands of complete strangers while Facebook was operating under a consent decree from 2011. They were on privacy probation since 2011, where they promised that without explicit permission, they would not allow for the disclosure of any information of any American. They have to answer those questions. What did they do to put in place the protections under the 2011 consent decree to ensure the complete protection of the privacy of all Americans?
You want to know about whether there's ongoing attempts to try to get this information. The intel community has been really clear that Russia is, as we speak, interfering in U.S. elections. This includes the upcoming midterms this year. Zuckerberg expressed confidence that his company can get in front of bad actors like Russia. Do you share that confidence?
I think that they are late, and I think other tech companies are late. They clearly have a conflict because they make money in the monetization of this information, and the less able they are to gather it and then sell it out into the marketplace is the less they may be reducing the more they may be reducing their profitability. So the question we're going to have for him is, do you support a privacy bill of rights? And I've introduced this bill into Congress. And that would be one, that every American has the knowledge that information is being gathered about them. Two, that the company to which they gave it is now reselling that information to other companies, other individuals. And three, that Americans have the right to say no. Knowledge, notice that it's being reused, and then the right to say no. And if they break that privacy set of protections, then there are huge penalties that the company has to pay. BP had to pay a huge penalty because they did not have safety precautions in place. Here, it's the data, it's the privacy of all of Americans that has been compromised. We need real penalties that are now put on the books that ensure that each of these companies understand that it's not just an oops, it's more than that. It goes right to our identity as Americans, especially if Russians are trying to penetrate. And ultimately, this information was put in the hands of Cambridge Analytica, owned by Robert Mercer, Vice President Steve Bannon, consultant Michael Flynn. So this is very serious. It goes to the heart of the privacy of Americans and the democracy in our country.
You know about this movement right now, this hashtag delete Facebook movement. A lot of people are saying, I'm getting rid of my account. Do you think that Americans should delete their Facebook accounts?
My feeling is that if people are not confident that their information is being protected, if safeguards are not in place, if the algorithms to protect the privacy of Americans have not been instituted by Facebook or other companies, then people should beware. They should be very cautious about whether or not they take their most private information and put it into the hands of this company. That's what we've learned, and I think that's what's happening in the marketplace. People are saying there's clearly no privacy. Okay, that's the new revelation, I think, that is coming to the American people. But these companies should have known all along that they did not have privacy protections at a level that was sufficient in the past. And then it raises the question of willful blindness. Did they know it was happening, but just decide as it went up level by level that ultimately they would not put the protections in place? We don't know the answers to these questions yet. And in the absence of those answers, I think many Americans are just saying, I'm going to take my information off those companies' websites until I'm sure that it is protected.
Senator Ed Markey, thanks so much for being with us.
No, thank you.